What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
Inferno! The evil geniuses looking to make this one a 2-0. It'll require quite the recovery for MIBR, who seem to be a bit out of their depth towards the end of Vertigo.
Yeah, it was a tough ending to that map for them. Like we mentioned, 7 rounds in a row picked up by EG, and it's not going to get any easier here on Inferno. EG riding a 7-game win streak, and they've beaten MIBR here twice in a row. Stanislav's going to get 1, then the flank comes in, and then he gets a 2-piece. Could get a 3rd onto Stan, who's now surrounded. Reinforcements are close by, and Stan actually flicks around to get the head of Henny, even up the numbers of 3v3, but they close the gap, and BRN restores that man advantage.
Nice for them to have for sure. And the double push down banana. It's an interesting response to it, taking that deep control instead of falling back into more passive angles. They're taking the initiative here. Timing's going to be everything. Walko just slips. I don't know if he was spotted. Turtle's backing in towards the pit, but if he goes down, there's no one to prevent the plant. And indeed, that's what happens. Bomb will be going down, and Rush is going to quickly realize what's going on. He actually got a kill out of that?
I can't believe that.
Thought he was just deleted, but he was, and he was somehow quicker. A 1v1, and Walko finds the timing on a hopping BRN. Rush's work is capitalized upon.
Oh, wow. I mean, look, I was surprised too. I didn't think Rush got anything, but he just a millisecond before he dies, he manages to connect on a headshot, and that makes things so much easier for Walko, who yesterday dropped 25 plus frags here. He was loving his time on Inferno, and I'm sure he's happy to be back after the way things went on Vertigo, at least for him individually. I mean, for the team and the way he was calling was fantastic. All right, 1-0 in favor of EG. And yeah, like I was mentioning before, 7-game win streak for EG here. Although over 2022, it is a 2-2 record between these two teams on the map. It's just EG that's had MIBR's number, winning 9-16 in their most recent engagement in the regular season of this season of ECL. Let's see if they can make it 3 in a row and extend their win streak on Inferno to 8, Mike. In fact, EG has only lost 1 map this season, and it was yesterday against Nouns.
I will say I did see a win streak snap today. FTW came into their matchup with an 8-map win streak on Nuke, I think it was. Didn't sustain it. Streaks sometimes made to be broken, but Rush, he's point person right now, and Turtle about to be completely overwhelmed. That MAC-10 not going to hesitate. There's no one really in towards this site. It's already a save call for MIBR, and EG, they're going to take a second here.
Yeah, notably, Rush was not blinded going for that entry this time.
No, he was not. Maybe they buttoned up some of the timing there.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yesterday it was just a bit off every single time, and they probably talked about that afterwards and said, hey, guys, we're better than that. Let's tighten it up. Nice little take there by EG, though, and because of the nature of Inferno, right? Once you lose that A site and your money's not in good shape on the CT side, just go for the save. Yeah, I also want to mention, I mean, MIBR are no slouches on this map. It is technically in their top 3. 14 times they've played it over the last few months. 9 wins, 5 losses, and a plus 42 round differential. It's just up against EG has been, it hasn't been good, basically.
No, it's been a struggle for them.
Yeah.
Lost it several times, dating back to previous iterations of the roster as well. So, and even when they were beating this EG core, it was still always close on Inferno. I'm talking 19-16, 16-14.
Exactly.
This is a tough team to close out here. But we'll see. We shall see.
Yeah, I'm just surprised with how decisive that win on Vertigo ended up being for EG, because I thought it was going to be right down to the wire, 29-30 rounds, but MIBR just completely flatlined at the end.
I think it's kind of one of the quintessential things on Vertigo, which is a lot of the color of the map in terms of the way it's going to play out comes down to how good a team is at handling the A-ramp take. And MIBR was struggling mightily. They were struggling mightily with Stan, with the pushes through there, with losing too many casualties early on, and then actually being able to hold or mount a retake. It's a tough fight for sure. There's a reason so many teams make it the bread and butter of their T side, and well, once again, EG seems to be doing a decent job of reading. They're going towards the soft side. It's just exit here with a single flashbang and a 5-7. Good luck, exit. Check on one. George with the MAC-10. He's wandering into a lot of competition, but he even finds the first. Which is nice to see. Exit. One kill, about as much as you could expect from him.
Oh, another kill, though.
Yeah, they do take down George. It's a 3-on-3. The problem is the retake with no util, no armor. That's
And
a
no
tough
kit.
ask.
Yeah, they have to go quickly here without the kit available to them. Stanislaw gets some information. Says, okay, guys, there's at least one on banana, probably two. I'm going to back off here onto first oranges. And ends up tucking himself into the site proper. Henny comes around, tries to tag a player, doesn't manage to do so, then goes down. That probably will be enough, although you still have Turtle and Jota with the MAC-10 and the MP9. MAC-10 can be quite cheeky, and so can the MP9. There's one and only one. Wiz and Stanislaw take care of business, and EG off to a clean start at 3-0.
It's not bad damage. The SMG kills give you a little bit of extra cash, and actually Turtle's going to use that to drop over an AWP. So there's something still to find for MIBR, some sort of value to squeeze out of that round. But here's where we really need to see the fruits of their labor. Here's where we need to see the answer. It's the first gun round of the map. The op's already out for Henny as well. So they've got everything they could possibly want. A bit of utility limitation for Turtle, but too bad, so sad on that one. No kits is the one factor that might come back to haunt them. Otherwise, we got to get her done. And I'm surprised that EG break out the op as well in their first full gun buyout.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday it was mostly Wiz. I mean, he did use the op on a couple of occasions, but it didn't. I don't think it came out this early. It was probably more towards the middle of the first half. So yeah, maybe they want to get him warmed up earlier than they did yesterday and have him activated.
Maybe T-side opping always a bit of a bear on this map.
It is.
Utility being expanded to taking this bracket's control. Look at the deep hold from Stanislaw. He's holding for this aggression from BRN. This is a bit of a different look. We didn't necessarily see these holds, and it's going to pay off. A little bit risky there. Almost looked like BRN could collect the kill before he dropped, but the Galil finally finds the bullets it needs, and now a man advantage. And a second. No, Jota gets away. And he wants to retake some of this initiative, some of this control, but he's going to find a vacated site. They've rotated and EG have read it again.
This is fantastic. It's not just reading it. They're forcing MIBR into these types of situations by making it look like they're committing to the site. They sent almost 3 players up into bracket, utilities out. MIBR's like, yeah, this has to be where the hit is coming. And they immediately fall off it after tossing that util forward and still have enough smokes to block off CT and, of course, Coffin. So, I mean, look, fantastic work from EG. This is another save from MIBR because they're completely out of position.
This is what we saw from EG last night as well. I'm so curious about where these mid-round rotations are coming from. Who's actually initiating them, right? Because watching... So this core, back when they were pre-EG, and I mean, even in the early days of this EG Black roster, right? Yeah. One of the things they struggled most with across their pool was mid-rounding on Inferno. Those late rotations, they always seemed to sort of stall out if they were threatened early. And I mean, it's not been an issue. Admittedly, you know, when you get the opening pick, it makes life a lot easier. It makes it a lot more straightforward. But still, they've gotten so much better at handling this map.
I think what used to happen, right, is they would make the right call, but take too long to actually go into it, and then there would be time for the rotations to come back and the CTs would recover. But now they go into it immediately. There's no hesitation. I think that's because of the strong voices of both Stanislaw and now George, right, to help Walco out in making those mid-round calls. I love it. Honestly, it's the best EG have looked with the core of Walco and Wiz a part of it.
True. Perhaps.
A lot of changes, right? Because it's not the same team at all otherwise, because Chop is no longer there. Hex got promoted, which was well-deserved. And then I'm forgetting the 5th mic.
I mean, there were a few fifths.
No, yeah, it was Classia. Classia, of course.
Once upon a time,
Yeah.
when they first made the move over.
That's right. So, still, I mean, Walco was the brain behind it all, and he is once more.
Penny looking for contact here in towards the brackets. Minutes starting down on the clock. No casualties just yet, so this one's been a bit cleaner. There's still some utility for MIBR, but they don't have any mollies. Not ideal. A couple smokes, though, can be very effective for stalling things out. One towards either side, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
Penny! All right. Who needs to see things when you can just pull the trigger? Problem's going to be the positioning for Walco. He slipped into CT. He's uncontested in this position. They don't know this confirmed, and that's going to send them back in towards a B pinch. You can see the adjustment, though. Exit knows it's a possibility, so he goes into the deeper coffin angles to prepare for this. But once the utility starts flying over, he's going to have to focus back in, and oh, this could be huge. Walco's position could be instrumental here. Can they find any contact? Walco finds that kill. Now he needs to get his head around on a swivel. He can't do that, but Henny even drops the bomb carrier. Henny, why'd you take this round totally in hand? Bomb now down. Retake still needed, but it's so much more viable now. He needs to have his own op have impact. He finds the first. Knows he's pushed the second back in towards Banana, and Henny for the moment is frozen. And it's all going to have to be Henny. He needs the ace clutch here, and he does not fancy this. He'll back away. Such a strong bit of opping out from Henny, but it's just not enough, John.
It was the offers on both sides. I mean, Wiz denying that presence on Banana and leaving Henny isolated because Henny needed someone, one of those two players, to have an impact and get a frag for him to be freed up and try to help them out on that B site. But it doesn't happen, and now Henny's just forced onto the save. Wow. I mean, those two shots onto B by Henny, though, were ridiculous. Especially that second one. Just threads the needle, catches the shin, or the back leg, I should say, of the player who was trying to jump over and manages to get that frag and his 3 on the round. But the rest of his team couldn't really contribute enough. That one in particular, right there, Stanislav going down. Crazy shot. Wiz as well, though, getting those two to isolate the round. Well played. Evil Geniuses stay perfect, 5-0. And I mean, Inferno, while pretty balanced, I'd say, one of the more balanced maps in the pool, does lean towards CT side, so MIBR really have to start picking things up.
Quiet start to the round again. MIBR really haven't done a lot in terms of aggressive posturing.
That's
part of his limitations on the utility, right? But haven't done a ton.
Still, the thing is, when they did find success in Inferno last time they were here is when they went for that aggressive posturing. Jota in particular pushing up mid. There's going to be a trade here, and there's the nade connecting from exit, and Jota finds Valko 3 in a row for MIBR, and now George is spraying desperately, hoping to connect on something, but that is a quick turnaround in this round as BRN looking to do more. Can he? Well, both players take a lot of damage. Neither has fallen, but that hurts EG way more than it does MIBR.
It certainly does. It certainly does. 40 seconds on the clock, and I mean, they're going to need a hero play if they're going to have a bomb plant. At least they've split the defense, so there won't be any quick rotations into this. You have a chance in the 2-2. We're going to go over. Stan mostly trying to distract at this point. Set up George. Certainly a risk to play completely isolated like this. Stan hoping he's drawn enough presence, but he certainly hasn't. First player out. George, is he going to realize that there's one towards coffins? Exit. No, gets the timing, and that's the round. Stan just has to save this AWP.
Yeah, nice little effort on the hero play by George, but I think, I mean, I look at the money. I was going to say, well, maybe that's why they saved, because they didn't have much money, but they actually have a decent amount of cash, so Stan probably should have been with George. I guess it was just a limiting factor to the fact that they didn't have much time left on the clock, and George just went for that hero play, hoping to make something materialize. Good hold by MIBR, though, finally getting that bracket control. They committed 3 players there, and it works. The nade helps out from exit a lot, and then a follow-up frag as well. Timeout going to be called here. And this one is by MIBR to talk things over, because even though they win the round, their economy still isn't in a comfortable spot.
Where do they shift this? From the EG side, got erased on the brackets control fight in the last. That was a heavy stack coming from MIBR right now. Now MIBR actually moves the early presence over towards Banana. It's the classic put an extra body here to throw nades to set up maybe a little bit of deep control. They finally have the utility to comfortably do this. But it's being contested from both sides. Also nades not connecting. And with 3 bodies occupied here, it seems like EG are once again going to try and take the space towards A, but they're not quite bold enough to go around the corners to challenge the smokes, and so MIBR get away with this. Exit's able to rotate in time. That's not a bad early round setup for MIBR.
I think one thing that EG have to be careful about is that they don't continue to just fake a site and rotate off of it, because eventually it's going to become readable and MIBR are going to predict it. George gets one and BRN trades it back. Then Turtle gets rushed, but George is still here threatening.
He certainly is. Going to drop a smoke to give himself a little bit of cover. Flashbang for himself as well, trying to catch players. It's a bit of a dance here. BRN zeroing it in. BRN going Super Saiyan here in defensive A. That was a tough spot. There were big gaps, and BRN has sewn them all shut. Stanislaw, if he saves this gun, they've got to buy in the next without too much issue. Actually, no issue whatsoever, I don't think.
No, they'll be fine.
So he will do exactly that. MIBR, another round that looked risky. George flying out on the hate cart, so effective, but they let him through and then slammed the door shut behind.
Yeah, I think George is kicking himself a little bit for not hitting that spray and taking down BRN, because BRN ends up getting another one after that and caps off his 3K. If George wins the fight, then there's a lot of pressure onto Pitt. Maybe the reinforcements can come through for EG, but doesn't succeed. And that's the difference. Second round in a row picked up by MIBR, and finally a chance to potentially get in a position to knock at the door in this EG lead.
Investment going to come back in from EG. Stan dropping a gun for Walco, and they'll be just fine across the board. But yeah, I mean, eventually this has to break. Eventually the Piper's got to come to collect. And MIBR have now created themselves a prime opportunity to get back into this half, to get back into this game, to give themselves a real chance to build up the CT side. One thing I'm finding interesting, right, is they are dumping so much of their utility early on. But they're not necessarily holding on to the positions they gain off of it, especially with regards to the banana fight. Sometimes you'll see teams really commit those nades in towards banana in order to put a player up on half wall, in order to put a player deep towards logs. That they're not doing. They're just pelting the heck out of banana and make absolutely sure there's no way Evil Geniuses can challenge it early. But then they go back towards playing sight for the most part. They don't even really stick around towards top gate. Just back right off.
I think they're just trying to make EG uncomfortable, and they've done this against a lot of teams, right? They really do like to dump utility in the early round and ensure that they can get into position comfortably. But yeah, I'm a little bit surprised they're not playing it perhaps more aggressive, like you mentioned, Mike.
This time they're getting a bit more of a peak. This might be a bit more of a commitment as well. Counter Molotovs make it so tough, though. You can't stick around. BRN starting to burn. Found a bit of chip damage on Stan, but once again, yeah, this is the big feint. This is the big duel. Grenades trying to catch a player. Not quite going to find it. And here comes the engagement. Does Henny want to go for one more peek? No. They'll back away. They make a conservative call again. Massive utility exchange. Not actually a lot of value for it, for either side. But they do stall out Evil Geniuses for a minute.
Yeah, that seems to be their primary objective.
Four-man push? Look at this. They got 4 players here, John. They are making a hard read, and I mean, the bomb's right there. Stan could actually be in a lot of trouble. He's rotating off in the nick of time. If they go in towards A, it's just Turtle.
If Rush gets the information, then they just charge right into A. Oh, Wiz actually gets the opening frag, so that's more problematic for EG, in fact, because they don't realize how players there. Now they do.
Figured it out.
Rush saw them.
They got to go quick. Moto smoke means the rotation's going to be challenging. It's all about Turtle now. What can he find in a nigh impossible situation? He takes the first. He's back in the corner. One more. A third as well. Turtle holds the line. His iron shell is enough. And Evil Geniuses, even knowing there's only one player on site, can't do anything about it.
What can he do, Mike? He can do that. 3K, 3 instantaneous headshots. It's kind of hard to clear out a player from that position. We've seen a lot of great individual efforts come through on this A side of Inferno from exactly that spot. So great job from Turtle. And he was never really blinded up by the flashes that evil geniuses were throwing his way. So it was the right read, but Turtle had the answer every single time. And look, George has no choice. He has to try and clear pit as well. They don't realize that Turtle's on the site until it's way too late.
Just phenomenal shooting out from Turtle.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing but perfection on the sprays. It had to be.
Yep.
It had to be.
And finally, they've forced EG onto pistols, although Wiz does have that op that he saved over. Maybe that can ring true for a frag or two here to help EG find something, but it's not going to be an easy task with only pistols on the rest of the squad. Rush is going to manage to make his way in through to window room, and George, along with Wiz with that op, are coming into bracket as well.
And he gets a nice connection. Whittling down some of the players early. They want to duel with him. They want to risk this. There's jump on the other side. It's definitely dangerous. But Turtle, oh, he's dealt with that danger. Not a problem here. The Turtle Man himself seems flawless. So P250 bullet will find him. The bomb is dropped, and this should be a nigh on impossible round for Stanislaw. A Glock, 40 points of health, no armor. Good luck with this.
This is where legends are made, Mike.
Yeah. Oh, hits the first. No more, but a great first shot. Why not?
Yeah. I think he was going for the tech at that point. He's like, I hit one really nice shot with the Glock, but I want to try and get an upgrade, and that's actually what cost him his life. So yeah, the expected result, Wiz unfortunately not able to get anything. Turtle's just been on a tear at the beginning of Inferno here. He's already up to 9 frags, leading the squad, and I believe the server as well, yes. And if you look at his stats yesterday up against Team 1, he had top frag stats, of course, on both maps of Ancient Inferno, but 21 frags yesterday here.
A little bit of parting damage on towards exit. That nade, okay. A little bit of more chunky damage. As it seems like the B fight, the banana fight, is going to be a focal point once more. And he's setting up a flashbang for his teammates to peek, I'd assume, here. There's the flash with the molly down. I don't know how much peeking they can do. Smoking a lot? I think that's actually a fake smoke to bait them into peeking with the op now posted. I mean, they definitely know it's not smoke now. But I think that's the idea. Or just to prevent the log player from being able to do anything.
Yeah, I think it's more the log player to prevent them from doing anything and kind of isolating that position.
Be a cheeky idea, though. Wiz, point person, he's just got the eagle, so he'll let his teammates trade him, and trade him they do. He had the bomb, but it is fortunately recovered. The flank from Boiler. 2, 3. George may have just won the round single-handed again. The timing. They push down mid without clearing Boiler, and he finds a perfect moment to strike. A backstab on Evil Geniuses will not be surrendering this lead. No way, no how, not now.
Oh, the transfers were gorgeous too from George. He is such an exciting player to watch. He is just everywhere, slipped through the cracks, gone on the flank, and no mistake at all on his transfer and his spray control. Wow. Another 3K. That is going to have so much impact.
It's a critical round, too. It's a critical time to find it, right? His team was up against it. They were in a really tough spot. And this would have been where their bank would have run out. This is where you really would have seen MIBR be able to take control of this half and pull into the lead. And instead, well, they will have plenty of money for the reinvestment, especially considering Henny saves this AWP. But you're going to have to empty the pocketbook, and their loss bonus has dripped away. So they could be in a very dangerous position now if they can't convert the next round. So much rides on this, John.
Oh, yeah.
This is a massive swing round early on in the game. Round number 11. Going to be
no
a
question.
difference maker.
Yeah, it's all thanks to George that they're even in this position, at least on the EG side. MIBR, BRN's going to go charging up Banana. He gets the opener easily. Jota with a perfect flashbang thrown into the eyes of Stanislaw, and then a nade going to sail on through and do even more damage. Oh, and a follow-up. Wiz and Welko are Welko's low half health, and now Wiz is too because he runs through a Molotov. Oh my goodness, the utility doing so much here for MIBR towards Banana. They have the man advantage, two very soft players. A could be a good hit, but no! Rush looks the wrong way, and now it's only 3 left for EG. 2-man advantage.
I mean, this is why MIBR's been throwing all those dang nades, right?
Yes.
So much damage. Limping players over on the Evil Genius side. I don't know. They were definitely trying to go for a tempo breaker, right? A tempo change up, try and take that aggressive control, and maybe thinking that this round MIBR would have shifted their look. A walk through, that's Scold from Walko, and it's not going to be very effective either. BRN's able to withdraw. Flashbang can set up another peek here, and it's just Wiz. He is a goner. 4-piece for BRN, and MIBR get another chance to knot up the scoreline.
Yeah, this is why MIBR is what I was saying earlier. This is why they like throwing that early util and into the first 30 seconds of the round, because it denies tempo changes. It denies those quick pushes to come through. And you saw EG on the receiving end of so much utility damage. By the time they even go for their hit, they've only got 3 players left, and 2 of them are on life support. MIBR, of course, close it out, and now they've won 5 of the last 6. Timeout called almost certainly by EG. Haven't checked yet, but I think it would be by them because the economy is just not looking very pretty. Although George.RUSH and Stanislaw can buy up here, I expect a force buy to come through. Still, it's not going to be full in terms of util unless Wiz and Walko sacrifice some of their firepower.
It's a lot better than I would have thought, considering the last couple of rounds, but they're going to go in. Walko's got the ump. Come on, man. Come on, man. Spend the extra $50. Get an MP9.
You mean a MAC-10?
Oh, God, save the money. I forgot what side he's on.
Yeah, that's right.
Save the money, get a MAC-10. All right, well, let's see what he can do with the ump. The UMP. Can add an extra flashbang, Walko. They're definitely not going to make the same mistake of putting the emphasis on towards B early. I don't think anyone wants to be torn apart by nades like that, but this time they also don't dump their own utility because they don't have that much utility. So MIBR is able to get that peak. BRN's able to zone out the space. It's a lot of real estate. This kill would be huge, and eventually it does come through for Stan. Pressure on. They know there's a player under the porch. Hurdle. Does he get out? He does around, though. Oh, don't fancy him on the smoke fade. Madness here, and a couple quick kills means that A site is ripe for the picking. BRN sprinting this, it's Hurd all the way, and now they know they can go towards B. They located this last player. It's Henny in towards the pit. He's under fire for the nades, and there's the spot. They don't have to contest. They don't have to fight.
They're going to, though.
I mean, they're going to try and chase this down eventually, but maybe wait a minute. Or just kill him outright. Why not? Wiz says, I will take that. Thank you very much.
I mean, they had a hold from Moto, from Apps, and from Lane. In that situation, there's nowhere for Henny to go, so keep the pressure on. Send the bomb carrier over to the site as a insurance at that point. And then they just cleaned out Henny right after the bomb gets planted. Wiz doing a great job there. That was actually a perfect setup from EG. They send 4 players up to the site. They leave George behind, waiting for rotations, and BRN literally thunder stomping out, completely unaware of the possibility that George would be there, and George gets a freebie. So a good recovery and response by EG to pick up a 7th, and this T side continues to get better and better. Look at the economy from MIBR, not looking good, but Jota's pushed up mid and he gets one, maybe the second. There it is. That's the aggression I was talking about that Jota likes to employ at certain moments on Inferno, and that is a great way to kick off this round. Not to mention Turtle gives them the 2-man advantage.
It's back and forth, man. This is a tug of war of a game. Don't think BRN's going to push that smoke again. Learned his lesson.
Yeah.
But with 1:20 still on the clock, there's a lot of time for EG to try and bring back one of these picks. Try and just sneak off a kill towards one side of the map, and MIBR need to avoid giving it to them. BRN's backed off. I think he was even maybe spotted by Wiz here, but the shot didn't land. So, EG not being afforded a whole lot of opportunities. That's the right way to play it. Check out from Boiler. George could get shot in the back. The right idea there. Making some noise. Trying to draw focus. Draws the third player over, but is that just to set up the B play?
I don't know. They've still got a ton of utility
Setting up
over
a
EG.
save?
I was going to say, Mike, given the money they have, it might not hurt to try for something here. But I think it's because of the op. That's probably what's making them hesitate a little bit more, because that investment probably can't happen as comfortably in the next round without keeping it in their hands.
And you've got a smoke, flash, molly on
Yeah,
each
a lot of
player
util. Yeah.
and armor. And as it is right now, right, George can drop over an AK without issue. Walko should be able to buy himself. Rush should be able to buy himself. So I think that gives them a complete buy. Maybe limitations here in the utility front. They could go for a Galil if they want to do that, but
George can drop an AK, so they're okay.
should be all right. Still, Jota taking command here. The fly down mid, the pressure on.
Yeah, they have to do that. And I was saying that before. They were so passive in those first 5 rounds. They were giving EG all the space they could ever want. They need to put that pressure on and make them uncomfortable, make them wary of that possibility so that they're not just freewheeling.
See if it's enough to put the fear of God into them. Jota has had a much quieter map as well. From what we were expecting on Vertigo, from what we've been expecting from him in general. 4 and 7 to this point. That's with the 2-piece in the last round, so it's been a slow start for him. Gears turning here as the IGL, figuring out those rotations.
He's going to toss a nade on forward here. It will go right in front of the face of Walco, tickles him for 2 HP of damage, but he's going to toss that Molotov on forward, letting Rush peek around the corner, and no one's really watching from porch this time. Henny throws that smoke from the arch side and gives EG something to think about at the very least, but they've already gained control of bracket, and this is forcing a lot of presence, a lot of rotations over from MIBR. A fallback to B would be a very good call here by EG, but instead they're tossing more util. That is Stanislaw trying to distract MIBR and open up space arch side, and that does work. Smoke into arch would be very timely here for EG, because then it blocks off sightlines from exit. Maybe they just want to take that fight.
That might be challenging him. It certainly looks like they're thinking about it. Exit. Oh, this is going to be critical. Do they clear out the corner? Nope. Wrong side. 50-50 peek. And flip a coin. Walko comes up tails. Still, pressure's going to be on for these players. It does isolate out Exit. They know where he is. It means they have a pretty good idea of what the setup looks like for today. And that's a big first kill. They clear out mini pit as well, so well worth the price. Rush is lost. Even numbers on this retake, but the bomb down with a second to spare. And now this is a very tough decision to make here for MIBR.
Oh, I mean, only 3 pieces of util. It is even numbers.
George
They have to get an
caught.
opening frag. Maybe
George is
not.
about to get caught. Oh, he slips. He slips it. The timing is perfect. Henny has no idea. So now George is going to come back out and be activated, and they're not expecting this position, but they're committing in. Time is so short here, John.
They don't really have much maneuverability here in terms of time, and EG.WIZ gets 1 exit, drops him, so they might be able to get this defusal, but they have to stick it. George trying to find a way. He gets 1, should be able to get the diffuser as well, and George the hero again. 2K comes through, 8-6 in favor of EG. He falls to the bomb, but it doesn't matter. That round was worth it.
Yeah, no survivors, but a 1.5 for EG at a minimum, and now a tough situation for MIBR to follow up the last round. Another big play from George. The timing was, I mean, milliseconds of difference from him getting caught in the apartments versus him slipping in for that final play. But once again, the instincts from George are on display. The feel for he has for the game as such a young player, he always seems to be spot on with the timings.
I mean, if he keeps playing like this at the ECL level, Mike, it's not going to be very long until we see him at Tier 1.
Even within this organization, look at the damage onto these apartments players already. Put some new ventilation into these apartments, installing some new ducts, shall we say. Do they expect a second player here? Well, they've seen him, so now they do. Taking out of that setup. Delete shot onto another. A looking ripe for the pick in. The bomb gonna go down. Very little MIBR can do here. And this is going to be the half slipping away from them. It's been such a strong first half of Inferno. Great positional control here, and 5-7 and an A1S. But you got exit. See that power. Nope. What's the A1S? Can't quite catch. Wiz wants a fight. And makes the right call. Stall him out. You got this round one. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, this is done and dusted, Mike.
Death blow in. They don't even go for the knife. No honor. But they've got him. 96 is the scoreline, John, and that's a very good first half for the Evil Geniuses.
Oh, fantastic. Especially considering the adversity they faced against MIBR. We picked up quite a few rounds in a row. I think I had won 5 or 6 at one point in this half, but then EG formed right on back and were able to close out so cleanly. All 5 players left standing in that A take in round number 15. We're going to head to a break. When we come back, we'll see if EG can close this one out at 2-0.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
Well, a sizable lead here for the Evil Geniuses, and now they head towards what should be the more comfortable half. So the work cut out for MIBR as they fight to take this to a third map and avoid the lower bracket. Evil Geniuses looking for a map advantage, and, well, John, they're just 7 rounds away from having it.
Yeah, and the bad news for MIBR is that EG wins 64.9% of their rounds on CT side, which is far greater than their T side. So they've already done the work statistically for them to potentially ensure a victory here, Mike. It's going to be interesting to see what MIBR brings to the table as Rush is going to peek around here into Boiler. with those dualies. Maybe he can do some damage. Here comes Turtle, and no, Rush goes down immediately. Wiz gets a trade, but it's all MIBR. 3 frags to only 1 for EG.
It's actually a fair bit to save here if they wanted to. Nade, smoke, flash, armor on George.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to think about it and say, you know what, this is not a viable retake. Not through a smoke back in towards the site with no kit with time expiring. Good luck on that one. So EG going to concede. This is the way to start it. If you're MIBR, this is the way to get things going. I'm going to be pretty pleased with themselves. So we've got a map on our hands.
Well, as we expected, right? I don't think either of us were thinking that Evil Genius nor MIBR would come up with a clean, strong victory, right?
No, yeah, no blowouts here.
Exactly. No, it's not going to happen.
And now that you said it, they'll probably lose every successive round. On the MIBR side.
Or the other way, right? You never know. EG is going to force up here, so they're giving themselves a fighting chance at denying MIBR the space. MIBR is going to get the rifle upgrades immediately, though. They're not opting for those MAC-10s except for BRN, who's going to get that. Over on EG, it's, yeah, only an MP9 Wiz saving for the ops, so not that much here for them.
Couple HEs, though. I don't know. Things could get interesting. Where are those nades? Rush and Stan have them right now. They typically play towards A. This becomes a B hit. Not so much that they can do. Actually, Wiz has one as well. Okay, they've got 3 of them. Nades down mid? Nades down mid! Oh, it's just a little bit too late. It's a little bit too late. There's a player right in that position. Would have been a freebie. Right idea. Wrong timing on it. And so MIBR get away scot-free from the big investment into the round. George is going to be flashing into this fight. That flash better come out right now. Ooh, nope. Theirs is faster. Little whoopsie on that timing. And this one is very clean for MIBR. Everything EG tried to do just a little bit off with the timing. And MIBR take full advantage.
Yeah, Walco's just caught throwing utilities. It's like, I'm going to throw as much as I can. Hopefully I can stop them from coming around this corner. But, his head clocked. So now the rest of the players are just going to save. I mean, they're already on a save in the following round. They need more firepower than what just USPs would deliver. Better to have the Deagle, 5.7, and CZ available to them. So a good start here from MIBR. I wouldn't get too excited if I were them until they start to pick up some rifle rounds.
I mean, that is the big test, but of course with EG having forced on in here, yeah, you get to put off that deadline a little bit, right? A little bit, yeah. Close the gap. It's like when you, you know, call up on the day of the exam and say, my cat is sick. Get an extra day to study. A little bit of a buffer here.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm not good at excuses. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I don't think that. I was gonna say I'm pretty sure that excuse won't work.
You don't know how sick the cat is.
Well, you have parents though to take care of that, so they'll be like, where are they? Are we talking about university, or are we talking about?
I don't know, John. It's been a
high
long time
school?
since I was in any variety of school.
Yeah, I mean, university, they're like, well, we don't care. Like, you need to come for this exam. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. It depends. I feel like professors were often it depends entirely on the professor.
Yeah, that's true.
Someone would be like, oh yeah, sure. Someone would be like, hand it in by this point, or you will combust. Just really depend on who you got. I'm not one to take advice from, though, folks. Don't use that excuse. It was not good at school, at least at the university level. So definitely don't follow my example.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that. Yeah, John. I feel hurt.
Sorry, Mike.
I feel hurt. Been boomed, folks. I've been boomed. Much like Wiz is almost certainly about to be boomed.
I actually don't know how good or bad you were in school, so.
That's true. You know nothing.
Yes.
All a mystery.
I'm gonna have to do some research.
I don't think that's publicly available information.
Probably not.
I don't think you can find that research. Just gonna get a message. I'm in your walls.
Remind me of the Matrix. They're in the walls.
25 seconds. And he's gone. Okay. The only potential risk to this round was really EG.Wiz going for the nuttiest D clip. Making Happy look like nothing. And he didn't do it. So Happy, your legacy is safe here.
Man, it feels like just yesterday that happened, but it has been a while.
Well, it doesn't feel like yesterday for most. That was like 2015? 2014?
Yeah, it's been a long time, but that play is so iconic. I've seen it so many times.
Classic clip. Now I think he's coaching in Val.
Yeah, probably. I don't follow Val.
I think I saw that headline somewhere. On the defuse? Tap it. Stick it. Stick it. Why not? No one checked. It actually didn't have time.
Yeah.
Stood hanging. A couple sets of armor saved through. It's at least going to be some sort of value heading into the first gun round.
All right, now it's getting serious. Gun round.
Stan actually
Rifles
spent
out
the
on
full
both
1,000
sides.
to reinvest and get head armor. He doesn't want to get Galiled.
Yeah, I don't blame him. Knowing that some Gleals are up, it's not worth the risk and not worth saving that money. Tied up 9-9, you really could get a momentum shifter here with a round victory. Although there will still be enough money for MIBR to invest in the follow-up. It will drain their bank accounts. George is going to toss a flashbang to support this push down cat. Down cat? Down banana. Wow, I'm on another map. Malco's going to toss a nade here.
I'm sure there's one culture somewhere that calls it cat.
Perhaps.
One
Although I don't know
Counter-Strike
why they would.
Yo, there's maps where it's like, who was I talking to? There's teams that just call things that they aren't at all. Like apparently, according to Alan, Endpoint calls the back right section on Ancient. You know, on Ancient B site, those like back 2 steps, the corner by to the right of the square, call them first oranges and second oranges because of first orange and second orange on Inferno, and they've just transferred it over in their brain. WIZ gets an opener. So players have strange calls sometimes.
They do. I think
stand in the smoke. Stand in the smoke. Oh my goodness, on this fade. Are they watching for him?
I think
what
they
is
might
about
be.
to happen? They're pass. Their pass. He's got one. Only one. That could have been disastrous. Instead, it's only a little troubling.
Still, I mean, it's a man advantage retained for Evil Geniuses. That could have gone worse for Stanislaw, honestly, if the smoke fades and they're looking for it. It could have been a freebie for MIBR. Instead, Evil Geniuses still have control of this round for now, but the B site is much lighter. WIZ is here. He's got the op, but almost certainly going to be flashed out of position, and the smoke's going to come through as well. Oh, no flash throw. He's got a free shot. Misses it, though. Goes down to 31. Flashbang going to get tossed on forward, and he just has to fall back. They might try to push through this smoke. It would be risky. Instead, they boost in the flower pots, but it's being watched for. Doesn't matter. Bomb gets dropped, but the trade is good.
3 seconds. They don't have time. They don't have time. The round's lost. They don't have time. Oh, and at least Exit dies, I think, just before that timer expired. But Jota, he will survive. MIBR run out of clock here just at the critical moment. A chance to pull in the lead. That is denied. Time is master of us all.
And I mean, look, MIBR were their own worst enemy in that round. And again, I'm going to talk about it, you know, waiting until there's less than 10 seconds left to go for your execute. They had the ability to go for it sooner, just throw the smoke and charge right in. But instead, they wait and wait and wait until they put themselves in a situation where if they make one mistake, it's over. If they've made that one mistake, bomb gets dropped, round is over. Oh, boy.
Utility exchange here towards Banana. George, all right, peppering some shots through the smoke. He gets himself an opener for free. Well, for the cost of a lot of util, but no damage back the other way. How's he going to stick around on half wall? Walko setting up this flash. That flash better come out. Here's that timing question. When's it going to come through? Not fast enough. Once again, just a few ticks too late. Back to what we had in the early stages. Molotov going to make life uncomfortable here. Walko doesn't have utility. He needs the rotation. He needs the rotation. He's just posted on the pillar. There's a smoke for the cross, so his teammates can't help him. Flashbang, though, through is good. Walko can't capitalize. He's staying alive for the moment, but he knows he has to swing. Some damage done, but no kills found, and that's a great shot through smoke for Henny. Don't know that this is going to be attempted at this point. They're backing away. Evil Geniuses will concede, and MIBR not at the scoreline once more.
I think Walco made a bit of a misplay there. He was hidden behind pillar. They weren't really looking for him. Obviously, he wants to get some information. I understand the peak, but it would have been better just to wait behind pillar as long as possible so that those reinforcements could come in, attract even more attention in the other direction. Then you peek out and you'll be able to find more damage.
Oh.
Maybe. Obviously, that's in an ideal situation, but still.
He peeked off of the flash that was thrown from his rotating players on cross, so he did have an opportunity to get a kill there. Just
fair enough, but
they dodged it effectively.
Yeah. Might have been better just to wait for that fight to materialize. Lots of ways that could have been played. Unfortunately, that wasn't the right one for the EG side, and MIBR right back to their winning ways, and we're tied up once more, 10-10. Saw this entry here from Exit towards George, who just didn't have much of a chance to respond. Then Exit gets the follow-up onto Walco. He has been pretty impactful here for MIBR when he's been needed. 14 frags actually leaves the charge tied with Turtle at the same score.
Investment going to be all in here for the Evil Geniuses. With just the MP9, they've got rifles across the board on the rest, if one of them is a FAMAS. Another huge swing round for MIBR. A chance to really turn the screws on the EG economy. A chance to pull the lead, and not just the lead, but likely create a gap of their own. Looks like we're going to get a lot of focus here on the bracket fight. 4 players here for EG. They're gambling this heavy. Utility's position at the right time. Walco swings out. Gives himself up in that one. But a TK. And now Turtle followed up upon. This is chaotic.
Oh, no.
This is madness. So much damage done on the exit as well. It's falling apart. It's coming apart at the seams here for MIBR. Oh, they'll take a beat. Try and calm down, but there was a spot right before that smoke loomed. Rush can't capitalize. He knows they're here. He wants the damage. No matter how many bullets he puts down range, he can't quite close. George. He's found the gap. He's too alt mid, but is he going to expect the player lower? He does, and he's got the cleanup. Rush takes 2, and George just there to put that ball straight into the hole.
Oh, what a denial by the EG side. And George just continues to find a way onto these flanks. They just set him free pretty much on the EG side. They say, George, go and do what you want. If you can get those frags, it doesn't matter. And he's consistently found a way to do so here on this CT side. 11-10 in favor of the Evil Geniuses. The lead is being bounced back and forth rounds as well. Who will finally gain that edge here in this second half? Last time on Vertigo, it was Evil Geniuses who just ran away with it with 7 in a row. Maybe they can do the same here and get 6 in a row to close this one out. Well, not if MIBR has something to say about it, because Turtle, he is at least going to take a little bit of damage, but he has been a player to watch out for on this side. Rush has managed to make his way into window room and takes down Jota, though. Strikes first. Is the trade good? No. Rush escapes.
He's out. Fortunate to get away from that one. Turtle just a tick too slow, and these clutch moments, these critical moments, these swing rounds have haunted MIBR. That last round was an opportunity to really change the fortune of this map, and now they're a man down in the following. Their bank's been drained. It's a dangerous situation. Pressure on up Banana. Move on through. They've got utility for this take for sure, but only one flashbang. Not exactly ideal. Seems they've changed their minds. 45 seconds left on the clock. It'll be 40 before they even get close enough towards the site. And once again, this timer is going to be an enemy. A sixth man in the server for EG. That 6th man. It's relentless. 27 seconds. There's first contact. Smoke's just going to go down. Now EG, no, they just need to stall this out, right? Time is their ally. 19 seconds. MIBR leaving themselves no margin for error. They're up on the hay cart. WIZ is deleted by a nade. But the peek from Rush, this is unexpected. First contact found. Stand dealt with on the rotations, but they're just trying to buy time. 8 seconds, 7 seconds, 6. They're planting it down to dirt, and they've got this. They've got it planted this time. Time doesn't run out. They have enough grains in the hourglass. Walker's going to wait for George to get in a position here. A little bit of a flashbang to give him some space. He's past the lit. They're all just forced in towards site. There's no pit presence. There's no one in graveyard. Walker wary of the mini pit, but that's the only one he needs to worry about. There's the spot on the first. Good damage on. Now George is out. Now George is out. He finds one. They realize that both players are tucked in here. Now they do. But it's all on a Walco. The first found. The last, he knows. He knows. He knows where Henny is. Does he have the bullet? 7. No time, but he will find the kill.
Oh.
Still, the round is lost. It's a costly one for both sides.
Oh, man, I think it's more costly for EG, though, given the economic situation that they put themselves in by attempting that retake. It looked pretty good, right? The problem was they waited so very long that there wasn't much time to work with, and George, once he goes down, Walco has to take care of the last 2, and he just couldn't zero in the last frag in time. So now a timeout going to be called here as we continue to bounce back and forth round after round. And as mentioned, MIBR, going to be a pretty good buy-up. Exit might have to buy a Galil here, but they'll have the utility they need, a couple of AKs up against EG, who might just opt for a half buy, perhaps at most. A force is viable, but I mean, given it's a tied scoreline, you have to be really, really careful with how you manage your economy right now. No reason to smash that panic button.
Not quite yet. Not quite yet. Another one of these nade stacks. Last time, they weren't quite on timing. This time, 2 of them are on the B players. One's already been thrown. To no avail. It gets them into position. George has another. Stan as well. Are they just pin pulling on this? Off of Walco's contact? Seems like that might be the case. Not actually a bad idea.
The small toss is going to make it difficult for George.
Certainly is. Pressure on. It actually goes for Stan's position, so the nade's over, but maybe a little bit too late. Okay, just elite shots. All right. What a way to deal with the setup. Eat the nade and just kill everybody instead. Rush with a P250. Just a matter of time before he's dug out of this position, and indeed it is. A little team damage even, but who cares? This is MIBR finally taking that lead. It's been so long where they've been coming up against these rounds, and they just can't quite get it over the line, and now they do.
There we have it. Wiz gets ventilated by the AK of BRN, and indeed, Mike, there is that lead for MIBR, 12-11. And when we were there on Vertigo, I was like, oh yeah, 10-9, here we go. Perhaps MIBR is going to be on a bit of a run, and that's when EG put a complete stop to absolutely everything MIBR was bringing their way. We'll see if that happens again here, because EG will indeed be on a pretty much full-on buy-up. The only one without util is Wiz, but he's got the big green in his hands, and he has been pretty good with it when tested so far here on this CT side. They're sending him to B. See if he can get some early picks on the oncoming MIBR players. And they're going to go for a quick play against 3 players here on the EG side, but the util is so far keeping EG at bay. They can't take that forward position, but Wiz with the op connects. There goes Turtle, down for the count. Wiz goes for the wall bang, hoping to get lucky, but it doesn't happen. Walco has to be careful. He needs to back off before he goes down to that Molotov, and he absolutely will. There's the man advantage for EG, and they no longer have to pressure.
Here's the thing, though. MIBR actually held back quite a bit in terms of that utility. They've still got a lot to show here. They're down a man, but they've got 4 smokes and 2 Molotovs to try and get in towards the site, and it seems like they are just going to dig their teeth in. Let's see if it's not possible. The real challenge is getting past Wiz's op. Walco to play off of him. This is a dynamic duo. A team that's played together for so very long. This tandem. Find another. Just waiting to see when they'll be lured in by this contact. George starting to rotate with more utility, more damage coming through, more bullets coming down the line. They know it's the commitment here, and this is the duo holding it. Wiz under pressure in the back, cavalry on its way, and Wiz good for his 4th of the round.
Well, Wiz doesn't need that cavalry. A quad kill comes through. I mean, he was the key piece. He gets that opener to give him that early man advantage. They fall back, take more passive positioning, and Wiz again delivering. I love the way he's staying warm there, just keeping his crosshair slowly but very quickly moving down just to keep his timing up. And wow, great work on his side. Henny and the rest of MIBR relegated down to pretty much pistols only, although Jota does invest into that Galil. And they're just going to work their way up towards mid. Wiz is watching it. He gets flashbanged. Will have to fall back here. He should be okay. He's got the support of Rush as well. But that smoke will isolate Rush. Wiz is still good to take down one, but only one. That's an op picked up here. Will it get taken down? It does. Rush with the insta trade, Mike.
I would have been a little bit too good for MIBR. A bit too sweet. The response was there from Evil Geniuses. Stanislaw getting out of the pit. This is risky. He slipped into the lane, though. He's found the timing. I don't know if they realized how much presence was here outside of library. Rush certainly didn't. Welko could still find the timing on this, and bomb plant is still a big ask.
Bomb is in library.
Okay, Jota has been dropped isolated. MIBR, a little disjointed on this. Not quite sure where they intended to finish, but as it is, they've had some opportunities in this round and haven't quite been able to chain them together. I mean, EG.SID needs to die at this point. His kid is not that valuable. He's got 25 seconds in which to do it. And he will accomplish his mission. Team ace for Evil Geniuses.
Yeah. Good job by EG to close things down. You're going to see it again here. Just Rush immediately taking down BRN was important, but the bomb getting stuck in library, it felt like MIBR didn't know what to do once they gained that space. I think Jota was just trying to clear out the flank and make sure no one was there, but while he does that, Walco slips through Arch, and he's got literally nowhere to go. By the time he turns around, he's already dead. So, EG. 13 rounds, they've retaken that lead and answer MIBR's 2 in a row with 2 of their own. MIBR's got the rifles up, 4 AKs, and the MAC-10. Wiz looking for a fight towards mid, but he's not going to stick around very long. Prefers being a more stay-at-home opper. And you saw him find that success a couple of rounds ago with that quad kill. This time, though, he's moved on over, shifted himself to the A site. So they're trying to make MIBR, or trying to keep it unpredictable for MIBR as to where that op will ultimately be.
Little utility they had is already pretty depleted for MIBR. One more smoke remaining. They got brackets control, but it's going to need to be a shootout. I don't even have the bomb with them right now. Someone's going to have to go back for that. You don't want to have to cross things twice. By Turtle. A boost red by Rush. Well, they will at least go back and get the bomb, but now time starts to become a pressure. We're going to hit the 45-second mark. Once again, MIBR playing this a little risky. The op goes hunting. The op gets chased down. Wiz out of play. Even numbers. 35 seconds. Stanislaw can still influence the A site, and the timing on that peak. Walco doesn't get the damage and deleted. It's all about Stan now, but time again. 25 seconds. They gotta go, John. They gotta go. First player lost. Stan staying alive. Maybe setting up for the retake. 16 seconds this time. Enough of a buffer. It's all in control. But they've once again pushed everyone in towards the site itself. Got no other positioning. Stan is just trying to suppress long enough for George to get into the angle. He eventually has to go for the reload, but now George is here. Trying to go for that X factor, trying to go for that clutch factor.
Get that molly in.
Exit. Good timing on it. George, he certainly does have that Molotov, but he's running out of clock. He's running out of time. He does have a kit. Wary of the pit. And he's actually going to back off of this. Doesn't fancy his chances.
Really? I guess Stan couldn't really confirm that damage he was doing, right? Because of the pillar, it's hard to see. And, yeah, George just falls back.
I don't think he knew all 3 players were there.
Well, there had to be some awareness that 2 were there at least, but the third one more of an unknown for sure. Oh man, MIBR continue to hang on here, Mike, especially after EG got that opening frag. I thought it would be a comfortable hold for them, but Rush, even though he throws a really good incendiary, I think pushing out there was an incorrect decision for them. They already had the man advantage. You don't really need to press much further. You'd already decided to go back to the site. Why peek again? I understand the jiggle for information, but the full-on peek. Either way, MIBR is going to take that round, and 13 all.
They certainly will. They certainly will take that round. Much needed. And now you're getting into a situation where, as a CT side, this is going to be so scrappy. down the stretch. If you can't convert here, 14 on for MIBR, you're going to be playing for overtime. No op. Major limitations. Plenty of utility at least, but EG are going to be trying to drop a gun early and see if they can't get WIZ an upgrade. Damage ineffective, at least off the rip for MIBR. Back off of this. Had some success recently towards A, so see if they wind up testing brackets again. That could be the case here, John.
Yeah. Have a lurk towards the A site. That's Turtle. Jota's going to be joining him shortly. But once Turtle's moved his way into window room, I think Jota's is going to leave him to his own devices. Unless MIBR decides to rotate off that banana hold and go back towards mid, which appears to be the call for now. They do like to rotate back and forth here on Inferno. So we'll see what their ultimate destination will be. But Evil Geniuses apparently has seen and heard enough to rotate WIZ over to the B site and reinforce that. He is pretty light in terms of his kit with only the Deagle. This will soften up the A site should MIBR decide to go here. They are taking their time, as they are apt to do on their T sides, Mike. 45 seconds left.
This is the sweet spot for them. This is the comfort spot. Thing is, it would be really nice to have WIZ's utility over here, more so than his gun. Molotov deployed, that will stall things out. That could allow the rotation to come through, and feeling all this pressure, yeah, they're going to start to go for this rotate. Surprised they haven't gambled more heavily on it. Maybe expecting the late play from MIBR, as they have done a couple of times. Big kill from Rush, looking for more. Up a bit early, there's gap here. WIZ check. His nades won't be helpful now. Rush went forward, and Stan revealed from the back of sight. It's all on to Henny now. It's all on to Henny. 10 seconds. Time running out. He gets one more kill, but he cannot get the round. Now, one more kill, though, John, that actually could be a difference maker here because the economy's not good for EG. Problem is, without a bomb plan, it's in the trash as well for MIBR.
Yeah, oh, man, what a cheeky hold by Stan, just waiting patiently there. No one clears backside. He's waiting and waiting and waiting for his time to strike, and when he does, he gets an important one and allows Rush to also deal some damage the other way. So, there you go. Evil Geniuses play their cards right on the A site defense. They wait for MIBR to burn down so much clock that they're in a bit of a panic trying to find the space to plant that bomb. And it plays right into EG's hands. Timeout going to be called here. Again, like you mentioned, Mike, it's a tough economic situation on both sides, but I think for MIBR, it's just the hero AK. That's the call that I think needs to be made here so that they have a decent buy-up should it go to 15-13. Or do you risk all the marbles here? I don't. At this point, I think they just should full send it because, you know, you have two players just invested, and that's what's going to happen.
They're
all
going.
right.
They're in. They're in. 3 rifles. They're batting it.
I mean, if you get a bomb plant, it's okay. Without one, oof.
Well, they're going to bet on 2 full commitments, whatever they have. See if they can do it here. And to be fair, the reward for this risk is massive. If they can break the economy, you could just walk in towards map point. That's a nice nade. Goodbye, Henny. All right, there's one more gun made available. Unfortunately, one less set of hands to hold it.
Perfect time to call that.
They tried it once earlier in the half, very early in the half. To no effect. This time, they catch the timing. Sometimes that's all the difference that you need. Molotov in, forces BR in, further in, down the smoke fade, WIZ collects. That's exactly what he was hoping for, and another as well. It's falling apart here for MIBR. 2 guns remaining. Exit and Jota, all that's left, and they have not been able to crack the edifice of any of this EG defense. 4 players here, well in position. Strong in the hold. Jota, 1 and deleted. Walko's got that. It all falls apart, all onto Exit. 40 seconds even. I don't even know if he's going to be able to get a bomb plant. He'd have to get back in towards mid to even think about that.
No,
35 seconds. Might just be trying to find himself some space to save. I don't know what the idea is here, but what I do know is he's not going to have much success in this round.
I mean, there isn't really much of a place to go now. He's surrounded. Does get one onto WIZ, so that's something, but needs more than that.
They confirmed he doesn't have the bomb. They spotted it on the radar. Don't need to worry about this too much, and Rush will indeed lay him low.
No.
What a critical round. That has been the story of the game, John. It's been these critical rounds, these swing rounds, about which the whole game hinges where MIBR just can't put EG away. They cannot fully break that economy. They cannot fully put together a run of rounds off of it. And every time it seems like EG are under pressure, they come up strong.
Yeah, and one thing that I think we're seeing here is that yesterday was an aberration for Wiz on Inferno. I talked about it 2 out of the last, well, now 4 times. He was 20-plus frags on the map and was always a key contributor. Yesterday was the lowest fragger, but, you know, it didn't matter. It had his impact in overtime. Here, though, he's back at the top, 19 frags, doing it with the op and the A1S in that round with the 3K. Look at what MIBR has to work with here. With their backs against the wall, because they opt for that force buy, Tech 9s across the board and full, not full util, half the utility they usually have. So, this is just not a good look.
No. Not at all. Minute on the clock, already done. You know MIBR, though, not likely to flinch for 25 seconds. Start to take some banana control. They are being allowed this, to be fair. And, I mean, the util's been dumped here from EG. There's actually shockingly little left.
Yeah, that's a problem.
It is. If Stan sticks around after he throws this flash, though, might not be catastrophic. Comes the exact. Oh, they've got the flank on. That confirms the bomb. Wiz not expecting the logs player, but now they got confirmation, and they're mowing down the numbers. The rotation has to come through. They have to race towards A, and Rush is going to put himself in position to deny this. Stan coming up to join his longtime partner. Rush might just seal the deal here. Dropped in towards the main pit. Here's that. Kill found. Bomb can't quite be denied, but time's running out. They've given themselves a chance. Rush couldn't capitalize. Jota slips deeper in towards the pit. Now we've got a round on our hands, John. Exit still just on the Tech 9, but Jota is keeping him clean. And again, that utility is gone. There's none of it. EG are going to have to do this with the guns. Drop the lane. They're taking this space. George making his way all the way through the apartments. There's not a ton of time here. Someone needs to take the initiative. Somebody needs to get the move on. Jota's out in the open. He's down for the count. It's all on Exit. A Tech 9 and 2 to find, and he cannot hold them at bay. Evil Geniuses take the 2-0. A 16-13 on Inferno. They are the first grand finalists in this season of North American Challenger League.
Unbelievable performance from EG here. Not like yesterday where they had to go to 3 maps in order to seal victory. Only took 2. And you know what's funny about this, Mike, is that it's a mirror image of last season, because in the previous season it was MIBR cleaning them out 4 times on 4 maps and keeping EG blanked out at 0, and this time it is the opposite, with EG beating them twice, once in regulation